Is Anxiety from Inside Out 2 a villain? No, but she's definitely an antagonist. So I can still analyze her, still give her a score 1 out of 10. How good of an antagonist is she? Welcome back to Villain Review. I make these videos all the time. This one's a little unscripted, so just roll with me. What score? 1 out of 10. Let's do it. Best villain of the year? I don't know.
I'm sorry, I can get ahead of myself. I'm Anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here.
So Anxiety enters the film when Riley starts to go through puberty, right? She's got some new feelings, some new emotions, one of the big ones being anxiety. And that's kind of the nice thing about Anxiety being the literal manifestation of anxiety. She doesn't need a motive outside of being anxious. Just like all the other emotions, she means well, you know, she's got Riley's best interest at heart, but you know, sometimes she oversteps, Riley gets a little too anxious, things don't go how they're supposed to go. Still though, that's something that I really enjoyed about the character. Throughout everything that we interpret as bad because she's the antagonist of the film, she's going against joy and all of the other emotions we know, all of those actions, again, it's hard to even see her as the villain because she's so well-meaning, because she thinks genuinely this is what's best for Riley. And you can't even say it's just her being dumb or she's uninformed, because just because she, you know, takes control of the wheel, Anxiety take the wheel, it doesn't necessarily mean that what happens to Riley is directly caused by her. So when it comes to the actual motivation department for this character, I think it's really well done. Such a smart way to bring in a emotion as a antagonist, because their actions and their motivations are so closely tied to our main characters. We can understand them better. We can understand what they're trying to do and how the overwhelming presence of one emotion can be a bad thing. And I mean, like, let's be honest, it teaches a lesson about life and anxiety in general. Anxiety, as bad as it is, as bad a reputation that it gets, it's still really important. And I think they do a few examples of that in the film where it's like, okay, anxiety, that's a good point. Because without anxiety, we'd just be running around not thinking about the future at all. Obviously, too much of it can be a bad thing, but we still need to be a little anxious from time to time. We still need to worry about things that can't just go under the radar, that we have to pay attention to. So again, really good job using the anxiety as a motive for this antagonist, this villain, whatever you want to call her. And yeah, I think it was a really smart move.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am just such a huge fan of yours, and now here I am.
In the character department, I think a big thing of this is Maya Hawke's performance. Maya Hawke proving that nepotism, while a real thing, doesn't always mean that it's bad or that, you know, they don't do a good job in roles, because I mean, this is an example right here. So there's examples, okay? It's not bad. It's not always bad. We don't get a whole lot of interactions between her and joy and all those other classic emotions, but her and envy, her and embarrassment, again, I like the attitude that she has. Not the attitude of like, let's make this child anxious, don't like that, but I like the attitude of genuinely wanting to help, how she works with all these other emotions that, you know, it's a deadly combo, dude, for puberty. I mean, it makes sense. Her and envy linking up, her and embarrassment, too cool for school, all those ones all linking up, like the Avengers of puberty. She takes the lead here as the, you know, head of this second group of emotions. And I think that another thing I like about this character is the design, which inherently has this big smile on her face, which also can turn into a big frown, all these different things. She's very expressive, maybe the most expressive emotion of all of them. And I think in addition to that making her just more memorable in general, we can see what she's feeling, we can see her intent in certain actions. We can see when she does something she thinks is going to be good for Riley and it goes bad, we can see that negatively affects her going forward. We can see when she's happy about something that goes well. Again, moments where she's taking control and it's going well for Riley.
We don't take this camp seriously, and we goof off with Bree and Grace. Riley looks really uncool in front of Val.
Let's talk about some of her scenes though, because she's got some good scenes. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if she has the most lines in this movie outside of Joy. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be surprised. The scene where they arrive, pretty good, pretty funny play on the whole idea of puberty, these new emotions coming in, but then her shipping off Joy and all the other homies back to the mind or something like that. It's like, okay, this is where this movie's going. We got a hostile takeover right now. Good stuff. In general, I like all of her scenes. I think Maya Hawke is great. I think the writing is really good, and she's just this very energetic, personality that grabs your attention when she's there. Like I said, her playing off of the other emotions, envy in particular, Iowa Debris, great there too. I also want to talk about the scene when she's like, you know, give me all these ideas, imagination people, give me all these ideas. And then Joy's like, you know, here's this. I like that idea of the imagination giving anxiety all these, you know, horrible nightmare scenarios that can happen to affect Riley. And then on the opposite side of that scene, how Joy can interact with the imagination and they kind of have this moment of clashing. Really like that scene too. Loved all that stuff. But let's talk about the ending. So spoilers for the ending. When Anxiety freaking thinks she is the Flash or something, one of the fastest characters of all time, Anxiety takes too much control of Riley. She holds onto her too much. All of the fear just overwhelming her to this state where Anxiety herself is frozen and Riley is stuck in this form of this anxiety attack. Really good finale to this movie, actually. There's a world where they just show up and they're like, Anxiety, stop it. And she's like, okay, you got me. I'll stop it. But no, this is just so much better. It adds just some more, you know, like gravitas to the ending, you know? Great ending for this film. I like how they bring Anxiety down and how, you know, they don't just like kick Anxiety out or curse her away. An important emotion to feel, an important thing that we all have to feel. And I like how they still have Anxiety there. They can still acknowledge her worth. It's just more controlled. Really like that. I think this movie is a really good movie for just people in general dealing with anxiety and how, you know, all these bad things might happen, but what's happening now? What can we do now to affect our futures instead of just getting worried about what could happen and what might happen and all these nightmare situations? Really like that.
Fear protects her from the scary stuff she can see, and my job is to protect her from the scary stuff she can't see.
In general, Anxiety, barely a villain. Really, antagonist, yes. But I think the idea of just Anxiety as the antagonist in this film is a really smart one as far as the personality and just as well as the overall theme and the motivation of the villain. I just think it's a really smart idea and it's executed pretty well too. Maya Hawke is great, the design of the character is great, and she has some great scenes. A really good addition to this whole idea of Inside Out and the brain. You know? Did this movie have to happen? No, but I'm glad it did. I'm gonna give Anxiety the villain score of 7.5.
How can I help? I can take notes, get coffee, manage your calendar, walk your dog, carry your things, watch you sleep.
Thanks so much for watching new villain reviews all the time. Hit subscribe. You don't want to miss any of them. They're all pretty great. I have Dementis villain review. And what's Austin Butler in Dune's name? Fade Routh. Him villain review. Check those out. Proximus Caesar also.